Good morning, everybody. This is Craig here with a hopefully quick and long overdue update video. Last time I did a video was in February, late February, and so it's been a few months, but you can see here is the red guava, setting some guavas here. Pink guava, red guava. Quite a lot of wood chips, finally gotten it all taken care of. Here's a pumpkin. See, let's go back over to the passion fruit. This is where I started last time. These were all really small plants a few months ago. This Panama red passion fruit from Seamus has started to take over this fence, and this blue passion flower has started to take over this side of the fence. We're getting a lot of these butterflies starting to eat a lot of the leaves, but the plant's been keeping up with it so far. Here's the West Indies lilac. Lost all of its leaves and put off all this new growth. It's gonna be really hot today. 110, tomorrow's 115, and then we're gonna break some records over the next few days, so we'll see how everything does. Here's the Camellia sinensis small leaf tea tree. He's doing the absolute worst of everyone. And yeah, not quite sure. Maybe I'm over fertilizing it or something, but he's the sad story, but everything else is a pretty good story. Here's a little wolfberry I got from Richard's nursery. It's like tripled in size. It was really tiny a couple months ago. Let's see, desert milkweed here, doing all right. Rainbow eucalyptus cannot stand up on his own. I've had to stake him a couple times, and but he's doing all right now. Looking pretty healthy, putting off new growth. Very nice. Here's the Indian thornless jujube, who is flushing out new growth. He is loaded with jujubes. Let's see if I can show you these. Just all over. There's probably 40. I should probably thin a few of these, but I'm just having fun seeing actual fruit on the tree. This was a 3-gallon size from Seamus, planted on Super Bowl Sunday, and new leaves, jujubes all over him. He's doing pretty well here in full sun. And then here's the Peruvian apple cactus I got from Jake Mace. And you can see that little bud on top is the new growth. So he is happy. He's liking this spot. Looks really nice. Put on that like 8 inches of growth so far. Then we have the west wall of sunflowers here that have summer still going. You can see this bee just loaded with pollen here. That's pretty cool. Yeah, there's a lot of bees, so we'll try and avoid those. But yeah, this looks a lot different than a few months ago if you look at that last video. Here's the Barbados cherry, and he has been flowering, but he has not really set any fruit yet. Let's see if I can find a flower. They just kind of shrivel up and fall off, so I'm hoping maybe the next flush. I mean, he's gotten a lot bigger too. He's probably at least gained 30 or 40% in size since we put him in the ground. I do not see any flowers right now, but they are gorgeous looking flowers. Oh, there's one kind of down in there. I can get the camera in, you can kind of see the back of it. But yeah, it hasn't set fruit yet, so we'll see. But it's healthy, it keeps putting off new growth, so it's doing good. Here's a couple moringa seeds that are coming up to shade this loquat eventually. But right now, this loquat is hopefully going to be all right he's covered with 30% on the south and the north, or the east side. And then 3 layers of 30% shade cloth up top and on the west. So he has, I know 30 times 3 is 90, but it's not exactly 90% because it's just 3 layers of 30%, but he's got a significant amount of shade all day, especially right now when it's going to be scorching these next few days. And then we have the 2 pomegranates that have probably doubled in size. They were just the little 4x4 9-inch deep pots. These Dave Wilson guys, they're doing great. This is a 2-in-1 Pluot, or no, 2-in-1 Plum Cherry, my mistake. It's a Sprite and Delight Plum Cherry. And that was a stick from the Arizona Rare Fruit Growers a few months ago, and it's putting on pretty even growth on both sides. You can see the fork right there, looking good. I've cut back a few of the vigorous growths a little bit, but he's pretty even and doing well. Then, if you remember from the last video, these moringas were 6-foot sticks that they're about 1 year and 2 months old now from seed, 1 year and 2 months ago. And you can see this thing, this was, all right, so the phone overheated for the first time. I don't have a fancy camera. So anyways, we'll go right back in here. I'm sure it'll overheat again. But you can see where this moringa is just healing over that cut. It's just expanding. The trunk's doubled in size since it looked in fall. And you can see where I cut it at the top. It's kind of healing right over that area, and it's put all this new growth up. It's probably about, I'm guessing, 12 to 14 feet or so at the very top. All this in the last 2.5 months or something like that. Crazy growth. All the ones from last year are blowing up. So really cool. Setting all these flowers. Hopefully we'll get some seeds. Here's another sunflower that has already seeded out. Pretty cool. Bringing in a lot of bees. And then here I have 2 mangoes here, that one in the back and this one. I got these guys from Tropical Concept, and they were hardened off, but I got them pretty cheap because I think they were clearing out some room for some new plants. And they were looking pretty rough. Like this is a lemon meringue mango, and his leaves were fully yellow. With some good care, he's looking a little better, green leaves at least. So I'm still waiting for him to push out some new growth. Yeah, I just couldn't pass up the deal on these guys. And that back there is the Chakanon Miracle Mango, and that was the same. Looked pretty rough. A lot of the old leaves had all this black spot damage. Here's a little fig cutting. Here, let's go over to the Chakanon really quick. He put out a flush of growth. Hasn't done anything since, but all these old leaves, let's see if I can find one, are covered in these black spots. Let's see a good example. Anyways, the newer growth does not have that, so I'm hoping that he can fight through, because these were good sized trees, like pretty big rootstock and stuff. About 1.5 inches, 2 inches, so it's like I got them for about half price. This is $100 tree, you know. Got them for about, I think, 50 or 65 each. Then here's the coconut cream mango that is looking pretty nice. I had cut the tip off. There, you can see there after it started flowering, and it's put off these nice 3 flushes of growth, 3 new branches, and so he's struggled a little bit just to stand up. I mean, you can see his stem is pretty thin. You know, he was just a 3-gallon mango, so I'm gonna keep going on him. But he's going pretty good. This guy's from Seamus. Looks probably the healthiest, even though it's the youngest. Then here we have the Marcus Pumpkin avocado that lost a lot of his leaves about a month ago when it was super windy. And so all these leaves, or 90% of them, are brand new leaves. And he's doing pretty good. Looks like he might need a little bit of water. I'll probably be watering everything today going into tomorrow. In the background you can see the Aravaipa avocado. He's doing good. We'll come back to him in a minute. What I'm really impressed with is this Redlands variety white sapote. This guy, He looks like he's not doing anything, and then in a week he'll put off all this flush of growth. A couple months ago he was this tall. See these older green, really dark green leaves? He's only about there, and he just puts off this huge flush of growth. This is, I think that was the second or third growth spurt, and he just puts it all off at once. And so right now he's at the end of one of those flushes, and so these are the younger leaves that just, I mean, they're just doing really great. He's doing amazing. He's not even really staked that well, and he's just kind of standing pretty well on his own. And I mean, these were all 3-gallon trees, so he's still really young, really small trunk, as you can see. It's pretty tiny, but impressive growth. Then you see this fig tree. This was just a stick in a pot, and I now have a fig bush, and I'm relatively certain this is a brown turkey fig. No figs, but amazing growth. Then here is the 3-in-1 apple hole that I planted. I had a video on how I did that, where I cut the Beverly Hills apple completely down. It had nothing on it, and I was worried I killed it, but then look at this. Flushed out all these new leaves, so these should be branches coming out eventually. But yeah, doing good. Here's a little bush bean. Granny Smith back here has been flowering for a while and set this nice looking apple. And this was a huge 25-gallon tree, or no, it was like a 20-gallon, 15, 20-gallon. So I'm leaving the fruit on there. It's only one, I believe. There's a couple other ones that fell off. And then this is the red Fuji. So the apples are all doing pretty well here. Here's another moringa that's coming up. I've got about 10 or 12 moringas that are coming up around the yard just for more shade, because this is western exposure and it gets hot. All right, we overheated again. So on to the star fruit, 7-gallon star fruit. Lost a significant portion of his leaves and has fired back. Not staked at all, does great. Putting out a lot of new growth, new branches. He was pretty much a 2-dimensional tree, and now he's starting to spread his wings a little bit. Nice big shade structure, because I have a feeling he's going to start growing up towards the top there. So I had to actually extend this shade structure up. And then he also provides this pineapple guava with a little bit of shade too. So yeah, here's the pineapple guava. Got 1 flower off him. Hopefully a lot more next year, but he's doing fine. Nice new growth, leaves looking pretty green and healthy. Then we got sugar cane I got from Food City. Set it in water, and look, just coming out like crazy from that root. So it's kind of just a cool looking plant to have over here in the corner. And then we got some more pumpkins, I believe, or squash, not sure which, we'll find out. But let's see, so we covered all this. Yeah, let's see here. There's a moringa up here, not sure what's going on. So this is the tallest sunflower, huge sunflower. He's got to be, I don't know, 10 feet tall, 12 feet tall, something like that. And I think he's stealing everything from this hole, because if you look at this moringa, he's as old as those other ones, and he's struggling. I keep watering him and everything. And then I have this cutting that I got from Jake Mace's moringa that's still green. It's still alive, and it keeps trying to put out growth from right here. It's doing it right now. But it just really hasn't taken off yet. So it's hard to say what's going on, but I don't know. We'll just keep watering it and feeding it and see if we can get it to live. Then, let's see, we have this moringa. It's a little bit behind the rest, but it's still doing great. It's budding out like crazy, flowering, covered in bees. And then we have this, the Shangri-La mulberry, which we got about 20 or 30 mulberries off and were delicious. And this was a stick that we put in the ground in December from Seamus, and just awesome growth. He's bushing out all different ways. He's growing really quick. which is how these things usually go. And we just pulled off the last couple berries. I don't really see any more, so I think that's it for the season. But yeah, he's doing really good, and those are delicious mulberries too. So let's go through this little canopy here. There's another moringa coming up, some basil, and the Aravaipa avocado. He is doing great. He's put off a couple flushes of growth. Healthy, good structure. There's a few burnt tips here and there from back when we were a little windy, but all in all, the king is doing great. So he's grown, hard to say, maybe about 6 inches to a foot. Definitely gotten a little bushier than when he went in the ground. But it's interesting because Marcus Pumpkin went in afterwards, and now he is definitely as tall, maybe even a little taller than the Aravaipa, and he was shorter. So right now Marcus is winning that race. But yeah, we'll keep going. They're both healthy though. So then we have this 3-in-1. It was a plum, beauty plum, desert gold peach, and the little Muppet, the dwarf bonanza. And they're all doing well. I'm having to hack back a lot of the peach and plum growth so that they don't completely overtake the dwarf bonanza. But all in all, they are doing well. And then up here is cool. We have a couple more moringas growing for shade here eventually. But this is a cool tree. This is the 3-in-1 Pluot from the AZ Rare Fruit Growers. It is Flavor King, Flavor Queen, and Dapple Dandy. And it is thick. This is probably the thickest trunk that's here. It's kind of hard to see because I have this this tree wrap around it, but it's about 2.5, 3 inches wide, the root or the trunk on this guy. So he's putting off new growth here and there. I've had to check back the Dapple Dandy a little bit because he's the biggest graft, so I don't want him to start taking over. But you can see this is a grafted part, and that's a 3/4 of an inch, this shoot. So yeah, I'm excited for this thing to start growing up pretty quickly. So that does it for the front yard, I believe. I think I pretty much hit everything, so I'll go around to the side and show you some more stuff here. Yeah, there's a shot of the yard. Looks awesome. All right, here is the side yard. We have 4 different grapevines. We have this black Manuka grape from AZ Rare Fruit Growers that I thought was dead. Here's the stick, and then it just sprouted up from the roots. So I got to get this trellis up here shortly. And then we have some pole beans in this hole and that hole. And this is a princess grape. And this is a Thompson grape. And here's the other pole bean coming up. So these were both from Greg Peterson's Pop-Up Urban Farm. And that's where we got the peaches and the plum as well. So yeah, thanks a lot to Greg Peterson. And also, all these trees and everything has been planted with Jay Behringer's compost. And Jay is awesome and makes great stuff. So I would definitely suggest him for soil. And then here is the flame grape that I got from Home Depot, actually. And it came with grapes on it. And you can see these grapes are starting to turn red already and looking gorgeous. So hopefully these grapes will take over all these trellises and create a nice tunnel here on the south side of the house to protect from this scorching sun and this 120 degree record-breaking temperatures we have coming up. So anyways, let's go to the backyard. All right, the last leg of the journey. We're almost there, I promise. We have the banana circle. And you can see my backyard is about 4 feet diameter off this slab here. and the grass is taking over. And these palm trees are about 50 feet in the air. But the bananas is what's important. These started off as 2, both from Seamus O'Leary's tropical fruit trees. Look at this, beautiful. This one on the left, this is the Lacatan that he ran a special on, and it was frozen back from the winter. It had this on it. That's what it had on it right there. And all this growth since February is super healthy. Lacatan banana, amazing. They're hungry. I dump compost and wood chips, and this thing just sinks down and eats everything, but it loves it. Loves the special treatment. So anyways, that was just a $25 banana tree, and now he has a pup on him right there, little guy, and then he has a bigger pup right here. This one's about 3-4 feet tall already, coming off with new shoots and everything. So he's got 2 pups on him. There's like a little sugar cane popping up here from some of the compost they threw on here. Actually, I just chucked it on there. It's like whatever. But then here, this is the dwarf Orinoco, and it's just a slew of banana leaves everywhere here. But literally, when I planted it, was this and that, and now there's these 2 pups, and then this dwarf Orinoco came with this pup on it and this pup on it already, and they were about this big, just popping this little tiny thing off the side. And these pups have grown about 3-4 feet already. I mean, the tops of them are at least 4 feet, and then even a third pup has popped up back here. So I'm gonna need to remove some of these. I'll probably wait until it's not 120 degrees to do so. But yeah, this dwarf Orinoco, let's see, where was he? He was about right here or so when we bought him. So him and the Lacatan have both now outgrown me. They're probably standing about 5 feet tall at the top of the trunk, and then reaching up. So I mean, it's really cool. I mean, they're beautiful tropical looking trees. And then this is very impressive. This papaya was that Tai Nung #2 papaya from the AZ Rare Fruit Growers plant sale. And this thing has tripled in size. This thing is crazy growth. I mean, this thing is a big trunk already. And that was just a little stick from there. And yeah, it's doing really great. It likes this spot. And it likes being by the bananas, I think. I don't know, but it's doing well. And then we have a bunch of crookneck squash here, cucumbers, something I can't quite remember. And then there's butternut squash here. And, or this is spaghetti squash, and then butternut squash right here. But yeah, everything's doing pretty well back here. And then we got some potato experiments, blue potato or purple potatoes, russet, some sweet potatoes, and yeah, just growing a lot of stuff. Just want to say definitely thanks to Seamus O'Leary's tropical fruit trees and Jake Mace. Greenie's Garden gave me this rain barrel, which I actually didn't show you, but it's really cool, 55-gallon rain barrel. All you guys are awesome, and yeah, we'll come back and do another update if we can survive the 120 degrees on Saturday. But anyways, take care, guys. Could I forget the Jagger bomb apple? Look at him, doing great. That's thanks to Roy Jagger. This is a seedling apple that is experiment here. So hopefully that does well too. And then turmeric, milkweed back there, passion fruit vine from AZ Rare Fruit Growers, and longevity spinach and some grass. And a neem tree that I got from Seamus that I killed in the pot, and somehow my girlfriend brought it back to life. I guess plants like to be watered, so that's something to keep in mind. All right, take care.